Okay, so now that you understand or you know all the properties of parallelograms, rectangles, rhombuses, and squares, all of those properties can actually be used in proofs to prove, for example, triangles. The structure is actually pretty self-explanatory. So you're given that a shape is a certain type of shape. So you're told that a shape is a insert shape name. So this would be things like parallelogram, etc. Okay? So given that blank is a parallelogram, rectangle, rhombus, and then if it's that type of shape, parallelogram, rectangle, rhombus, square, then you apply the property. Okay, and the conclusion would obviously match the property. So if you're going to say something like, then opposite sides are congruent, then you would have a set of congruent sides here. Then opposite sides are parallel, your conclusion would be parallel sides, so on and so forth. Okay, so I just want to look at an example here. I don't want to get too deep into this because there's so many different ways that this could go. Instead, I want to just kind of talk this out and talk about all the different ways we could potentially do this. And then when you're looking for specifics about the different types of cycles, I would ask you to look at my answer keys so that you can see what the cycles would look like. But they're pretty straightforward. So we're told here that ABCD is a parallelogram, and we want to prove that AE is congruent to EC. Okay, so this one is actually pretty short, just to give you an idea. So let's take a look at this. All right, we're actually not even going to prove triangles here, but when you're on an actual assignment, you're probably going to have to prove some triangles. Okay, but let's take a look here. So we're told that ABCD is a parallelogram, and we want to prove that this AE, we want to prove that this is congruent to this. Well, what do I know about parallelograms? I know that their diagonals bisect each other. So this would be basically one example of a cycle. All right, this one is given in the form of an entire proof, but it's really just one proof. So let's take a look here. So step one, we're given that ABCD is a parallelogram. Okay, so two, if it's a parallelogram, then diagonals bisect each other. Okay, so there's the property. So given shape name is a shape type, if shape type, then what's the property? Diagonals bisect each other. Your conclusion should match whatever property you're talking about. So we're going to say, now in this case, I don't necessarily care that AC bisects DB because I'm not trying to prove that DE equals BE. What I care about is that AC is being bisected. So all I'm going to conclude here is DB bisects AC. Okay? Now, if you wanted to prove at the same time that DE was congruent to BE, then you would add a second line here that says AC bisects DB, something to that effect. Okay, so, and now I finish this off. So now I'm just on a bisector cycle. If bisector, then two congruent parts. Conclusion, AE is congruent to EC, and I'm done, okay? So this is an example of what a cycle might look like that is the result of a property of a shape type, parallelogram, rectangle, rhombus, square. So this is kind of what it looks like. Um, okay, and then the only other thing that I really wanted to talk about in this particular video was we talk a lot about, we end up talking a lot about parallel lines when we're talking about parallelograms because obviously with parallelograms, both pairs of opposite sides are parallel, and rectangle, rhombus, square are all types of parallelograms, so those properties apply all there too. What I want to talk about is just a common mistake that students make. Students commonly talk about parallel lines and then they use parallel lines to prove congruence. Parallel lines does not tell us anything about congruence in terms of segments. Parallel lines lead to congruent angles, not sides, angles, okay? And here's how the cycle would work. You would be given that you have maybe like a parallelogram, okay? So maybe given ABCD is a parallelogram. If parallelogram, then opposite sides are parallel. So your conclusion would be a segment is parallel to another segment. And then we can use all those parallel lines crossed by transversal properties that we learned way back in Unit 1. So let's take a look at this shape right here and we can talk about what this would look like. You might say ABCD is a parallelogram. Therefore, if parallelogram, then opposite sides are parallel, and you might say that AB is parallel to DC. So your conclusion would be AB parallel to DC. Then you would say if parallel lines, then if parallel lines cross by a transversal, then alternate interior angles are congruent. And so your conclusion would be angle ABE is congruent to angle EDC, okay? So that would be an example of what you see with parallel lines. Parallel lines do not lead to congruent segments. They lead to congruent angles, which is very useful when we're trying to prove triangles are congruent. So use my answer keys to see how these cycles work in action, but now you have the basic structure of what this is supposed to look like.